Alright, so this is another client test that I was doing based on a comic book. So the idea is that we have a comic book that's being displayed, but it's digital and it's on a phone, so it can change its orientation very easily. We could lock the player to a particular orientation, but even in that case, we need to make sure that the UI stretches properly to deal with different aspect ratios on those devices. So over here, we've got three different sections. We've got this split up. We've got three tests going on as well, and you'll see in a moment. The first one, this image always stays the same. That's just going to be constant. So we have an image that stays the same. Then we have two other images that will adjust and scale. So in this one, we want to make sure that the mask border, this white line, actually stays in position, that it follows and keeps the masking proper. Then over here we have this image inside of here, and we want everything to slide over, basically to scale, so you actually kind of still stay focused on the center when we adjust it. And then up here, the same thing is supposed to happen. We see this piece of information here, or we see this focus, the statue that's in here, and we want to keep the focus on the statue. Now these are just test images. This has nothing to do with the actual content that was going to be used. But over here we see this bike, and we want to focus in. When we focus in, it's not just the bike, it's this open hull section. That's the space that we want to keep focused on. So when I adjust this, we can see that as it moves in to portrait mode, over here we've still got this opening, and that bike particularly stands out well. And then over here the statue still stays in frame, and then this small image always stays the same size. But then when we expand it back out, we get additional information of all sorts of things going on in this background and these scenes to give us extra things that, okay, that's nice to know, but it doesn't really serve the purpose of the scene, or it doesn't matter. Then we have another test. Now in this test, it's basically everything is the same, except over here we're saying that the focus is going to be this minivan, this thing in the shadows. Oh, and different thing, well, yeah, we'll keep it there. So it's this one in the shadows. So when I scale it, we see it moves basically the same, except this actually shrinks. This is cutting stuff off here, but over here we're focused on the minivan. So let me expand that back out. All the rest of the stuff stayed the same. Now another thing that we wanted to test was the ability to make the UI change by things like mouse over or an event happening. If there's audio in the script, that it kind of leads you from one part of the frame to the next, for instance. And something should be able to happen with the animations and how we adjust and focus on the backgrounds. Okay, so in this one I actually have to have it play, so I just hit play and we're gonna see it start, and it started. When I mouse over that bottom one, which is the trigger for this one, we're going to focus on the Vespa bike. So I'll mouse over. It takes about 3 seconds to focus in and zoom, and you get there. But then when I take this off, the focus zooms back, but it only takes about a second. So it's faster. A little bit of a slower coming in, and there it's in. And then I take this out, and it's done. Okay. So that was a quick test of how this stuff works. That we were testing some various comic books things, wanting to make sure that the UI would manipulate and adjust properly on different screen sizes and aspect ratios, where we could make one comic book frame and build it to work, whether you are whether you are landscape or portrait, or something in between.